Hello. You are tuning into the episode of The Wunderkind Show. Today's first topic, revisionist history from Nick Wright. And first things first. Look! Guys, I told you guys previously that with Lamar Jackson's greatness, and because they were so wrong, especially before he wins a title, there's going to be a whole bunch of revisionist history going on. And I said the media always does that because when they're wrong, they can never accept that they're wrong. So they try to change up the narratives of the past to fit the narratives of the present. And shout out to Jared Thomas for pointing this out, because he had told me to take a look at this, and I said, you know, I'm gonna take a look at this and respond on it, react to it. And the unmitigated gall to absolutely have the idiotic mindset to try to compare what Lamar Jackson had as a rookie to what Mahomes had, and to say Mahomes didn't have more than Lamar, he didn't have more than Josh Allen, and Lamar had just as much help as Patrick Mahomes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the audio, because I can't play the video or they'll flag it. All right, I'm going to play the audio of this. And I want you to hear this foolishness, this absolute drivel, unmagnetized pus of words being spewed from this man's mouth. And Chris Broussard is no better. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play it and we're going to break it down. All right, so without further ado, here it goes right here. You get to hear what Nick Wright feels and Chris Broussard giving a there. It's okay. Check this out.
All the accolades come. But this is my biggest gripe, Brew, with all of the put Josh in Patrick's situation, put Lamar in Patrick's situation, what we're talking about. It totally ignores the fact that of his contemporaries, Patrick had and has had, over the course of his career, far and away the worst defense of them. So since Patrick took over as starter, the Chiefs have averaged 10th in the league in points allowed and 16th in the league in yards allowed. It's gotten obviously much better the last 2 years, because the very beginning it was dead last in the league. Lamar's, Brew, what's Baltimore? The defensive culture is always great. Josh, top 8 in both.
And 16th,
you compare it to the other guys
Josh
Patrick is chasing in the ring count. Joe and Tom. Tom came in to a great defense. Joe came into a historically great defense, Brew. And so I am not denying Patrick's weapons were elite and his coaching was great. But in my opinion, the best thing for a young quarterback is not having to score 35 every game the moment they become the starter, which is what Tom got, what Joe Montana got, what Josh and Lamar got. And it's the one thing Patrick did not get until recently. So the idea that he had the best setup in the history of the league, Brew, is absurd.
Ridiculous. I don't think it's absurd. And you know how much I love Mahomes. I think Colin is being fair. I didn't get a whole bunch of graphics. I mean, we know the Chiefs weren't great 20 years ago, but that's not the big deal. The one guy, though, this will surprise you, because I thought about Montana, Brady, their situations weren't comparable. Belichick was a bad coach at that time. And I'm serious. He got fired in Cleveland.
And
made the playoffs one out of, but he had a great run in Philly. They kept getting to the conference.
Belichick had a great run with the Giants.
As an assistant head coach.
As a defensive coordinator.
Okay, I'm talking about a head coach. Andy Reid was a great head coach in Philadelphia. He was a great head coach.
This is where he starts speaking foolish.
Bill Belichick was a failing head coach, even with a Pro Bowl quarterback like Drew Bledsoe. So Brady, I don't think is comparable. Montana's not comparable.
Why? Montana had Bill Walsh.
How was the team? When Montana
Brew,
took
they
over,
had Brew, his first year as a starter, they had the number 1 defense in football.
what'd they do before that? What was the team before that? When Montana took over,
They were 6-10.
Okay,
6
there you
and
go.
10.
All right, listen. The one guy that's comparable was Lamar Jackson.
They're just
Josh
using his
Allen's not
man's name at this
comparable.
point.
They have been to the
using his name at
playoffs
this point.
once in 17 years when Josh Allen took over the Bills. Lamar Jackson stepped into a comparable situation to Patrick. Super Bowl winning coach, a team that was a great culture franchise, could learn under Joe Flacco like Alex Smith, and Flacco had won the Super Bowl. And, quite honestly, Lamar wasn't as good as Patrick.
All right, guys, that's all I'm playing to that foolishness. Okay, now, I played it for as long as I could play it. Look, I want y'all to hear me and hear me well, right? Of this drivel. Was it not Lamar that took over for a team that was 5-6? Or, I'm sorry, 4-5? Right? When have the Ravens ever had an explosive offense? When? When were the Ravens ever expected to win 12 or plus, or expected to win 12 or plus games? When? Your comparableness is saying, well, they have 2 Super Bowl winning head coaches, and they come from 2 organizations that do. The Ravens missed the playoffs 5 out of 6 seasons before Lamar Jackson took over. They weren't averaging a lot of points. They went from that to making the playoffs 4-5. That was their record. Talking about he can learn under Joe Flacco. Yeah, learn how to lose. Joe Flacco, now we're losing. They said that there were so many problems with the Baltimore Ravens roster. Insert Lamar Jackson, all of a sudden, we go 6-1, we make the playoffs. And they had a great team all along. Then they said, remember, after that happened, they figured out Lamar. They understand it now. He's not going to flash on nobody's screen anymore because they've already got tape on him now. Everything was called into question in 2019. The defense, the coaching, the offensive line, the weapons, running backs, everything, tight ends, everything. Everything was called into question in 2019. Why do you think we had to get Marcus Peters? Oh, y'all forget? I didn't. Why do you think they went and got the safety from Seattle? Somehow it's comparable. Comparable. Name a top Ravens offense. Top 10. In the entire John Harbaugh. Name any other time John Harbaugh had a top 10 offense. You might say once. And I'm pretty sure that's when Gary Kubiak was the offensive coordinator. Once. You might. Because I think that year, I think they were like 13th. Andy Reid has had some of the greatest offenses in NFL history. He's been on the field. As a coach, he has shown his ability to be able to take guys who other people thought weren't good and absolutely get the most out of them. No one thought Tyreek was going to be Tyreek. Nobody thought Jeremy Maclin was going to be Jeremy Maclin, or much like Deshaun Jackson was going to be Deshaun Jackson. They were talented. They didn't think they were going to turn into what they were. Nobody thought that he was going to be able to teach Vic how to stay in the pocket. The Chiefs had a top offense before Patrick Mahomes. What you think? I forgot about Jamal Charles? Oh, boy. Mind you, Kelsey, Tyreek, they were Pro Bowls before Patrick played. And this is my problem. Because the revisionist history, instead of saying, all right, this is how it was, nah, I don't want my guy to look so bad, we got to revise it. He looks too bad in that light. And they always use Lamar for it. So, to Nick Wright, you know what I'm saying, for everything you got to say, you're going to catch a lot of these this year. Letting you know that now. Chris Bouchard, you're supposed to be on our side, and you're sitting there co-signing absolute foolishness. See, I ain't scared to call y'all out. I ain't scared not one little bit. Not even a little. Picking chicken little. Ridiculous. He had a copy of the way Patrick Mahomes came into. Bro, Lamar still hasn't played with the number one receiver. Jesus gosh. And you're going to have the audacity to come out there and say he has whatever. Mind you, Lamar's defenses have been on historical paces for bad defense. That's neither here nor there. Chalk it up to the ether. It's nasty work. Nasty work. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But what do you guys think? Do you think it's a whole bunch of revisionist history going on? Do you think this is proper? And did I not tell you that this was going to be where they start to go in the story of Lamar Jackson? Let me know what you think down in the comments, please. All right? But as always, that's episode of The Wunderkind Show. Thank you for watching. And now we get down, we have fun, and we laugh. But everything we talk about, we're doing what? Facts and truth. Please remember, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, guys. Leave a comment. You know all the comments. If you haven't done so already, check out the Wunderkind Morning Show live Monday through Thursdays, 9:30 to 10:30 a.m., where we touch on all topics of sports. And we have a little bit of trivia and nostalgia from the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Guys, be there or be squared. I'm telling you, we have a lot of fun. Support, subscribe, become a member. Let's keep building. Also, if you want to donate to the channel, help out with equipment and stuff like that, bottom of the screen, QR codes to a Cash App. Cash is located in the description of every video that we do. Name of it is $, The Wunderkind Show. Super easy. But that's episode of The Wunderkind Show. This show is Nectar signing off, and as always, you know my slogan. Peace. And I am out of here. Huh? Yup.
Finish him, Daddy.
No!